I don't think it's possible for them to get dead last.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible for them to get scored on 78 times again. Let's get it.
Let's go. Vamos.
Arriba los Quakes.
Vamos,
que no?
San Jose.
Arriba Sanjo.
San
Far away.
Let's go.
El Sanjo.
Pura Santa Clara County, cabrones.
Huevo, even though we're from San Benito County. Fun fact, folks. No, welcome back, folks, to a bonus episode of Goal Sided. This one's going to be a little bit different. If you guys know, whenever we do bonus episodes, it's whatever hot topic we got at La Selección sometimes because we love La Selección. Call-ups. In this case, it's going to be of our poderosísimos, just kidding, San Jose Earthquakes de nuestro corazón.
Pinches terremotos.
The Quake season starts next weekend. So by the time you guys see this, maybe by that weekend. So we want to do a little bit something different, show some love to our local team. Maybe we'll do this with Chivas and America individually at some point next season. I'm not going to hear like, "Ay, ¿cómo va a jugar la América?" I don't care.
A ganar siempre.
Me vale what they're doing. No, but we'll talk about how the Quakes finished last season. We'll talk about our predictions for this season. We'll talk about what they've done since last season. Last season was a historic year, not in a good way. Yeah. So we'll talk all those things. Bruce Arena coming in. What does that mean for the Quakes? We'll talk all of that. We'll give our predictions for how we think that they'll do. If there's any silver lining out there for us for this next season, especially after some good transfers.
Yeah, exciting if you're a Quakes fan because this past 2-3 years have been terrible. Pero there's a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel for this season. So nonetheless, we're exciting, or so we think, because it is the beginning of the season. Todo puede pasar. También nos puede ir mal. So we just got to take it game by game. Porque
that's what you got to do, man. I've had season tickets. Maybe we can open it up with that. I've had season tickets the last 5 seasons since mi pastor, Matias Almeida, came for the San Jose Earthquakes.
For the first season you got season tickets?
That was the first season I got season tickets.
Jeez.
And we did terrible. I mean, that season we made playoffs, and then Kansas City eliminated us off of penalties. El pinche cabrón de Chris
After that season, I was going to get season tickets.
Yeah, because it looked good.
I was like, okay.
You're like, next season Almeida, you're going to cook. But
as we know.
And we have a lot of Almeida haters in the chat. Like, people will debate whether it was him that killed it, the ownership that killed it, right? At the end of the day, they didn't. It's the same story as always. This team wasn't made strong enough. It wasn't supported in a way with the right signings to make them better than the previous year.
Yeah.
It's been the same story with the Quakes. If they're any good, the next year they're not as good because they don't make them better. If they're bad, they sell the story that, oh, well, it can get worse, so we're going to be better next year. And then they try to hook you like that, right? So long story short, I am no longer a season ticket holder. It's over. And this is the year that Messi's coming. Jeez. And that didn't even convince me. I'm still getting hit up right now to renew my same tickets when they told me like 3 or 4 months ago what the deadline, that they were going to give up my seats.
Oh, shit.
And I went on there. They sent me the portal, which told me what seats are available, and my seats are still available. So they didn't actually sell. I don't think they're getting the same enthusiasm as they expected for Messi coming.
Yeah.
It'll probably ramp up right before the game.
Yeah, or people just buy that single game ticket.
Yeah, but they really wanted everyone to buy it. Like, hey, there's not going to be any single game tickets, right? Look at it online. They're all $600 for that match.
Oh, you said it's over $1,000, right?
But season tickets, I mean, the cheapest ones I think are like $400 to $600, like the standing room ones, and you get a beer with them.
Yeah,
I mean, look at us now doing promotion.
I know.
No, not a sponsor. San Jose Earthquakes are not sponsoring us. Just if you guys want to, hit us up. No, but yeah, there's the cheapest option is a standing room, and they give you a free beer every game.
I guess it's not bad because...
Which I think a tall can, not bad.
$15.
And then nomás encuentras donde sentarte. Sheesh. Al medio campo.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. All right, folks. But y'all know that's our vibe, and that's what we'll talk about. And a big shout out to the homies over at Tectonic Takes.
Hey, saludos, cabrones.
Because they're the ones that are doing this week in and week out and giving you guys great Quakes content. And we see you guys. We appreciate you guys that are in our Discord too. But yeah, we just wanted to give our love to the Quakes and see what the season's going to look like. No, but going back to how the Quakes did last year. Pues está cabrón.
Pues a ver, dime cómo.
Last season, they got dead last. They only had 21 points in 34 matches, which equates to the wooden spoon, se dice aquí en la Liga, la MLS. Wooden spoon, dead last overall, when you like East and West.
Correct.
So they got dead last. Dude, that's almost like a half a point per match. That's crazy.
Dude. It's insane. Not only did we get the lowest points in the whole league, but we also got the most goals conceded.
78 goals against. That's the most in the league all time.
Ever.
The second most was FC Cincinnati in 2019. Their first season was 75 goals. And we beat that 78.
Oh,
no manches, güey. 78 in
coladera.
34 matches. That's like 2.5 almost
per game. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's insane. Like poor William Jarbrough, poor Daniel when he was healthy.
Oh yeah, he probably got hurt just to take some time. No manches.
Good thing our boy Emi Ochoa that we'll talk about no lo metieron porque iba a ser una goliza.
Por eso se fue a Cruz Azul.
Dijo, I gotta get out of here, pero
get me out of here, coach.
Yeah, it was tough last season.
Yeah, so you would think, the Quakes must have gotten so many star defenders and center defensive mids. Well, maybe not. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's look at last season a little bit, Cesar. From what you remember, any bright spots on the playing field that you can remember, a player that you think like que sí sobresalió, even though they did that terribly?
I mean, the most obvious one is Hernan Lopez coming in from Godoy Cruz.
That was a solid sign out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Somebody most people didn't have in the radar, if anybody. El grandfather, el nieto.
Nieto de Maradona.
De Maradona. Yeah, that LAFC game, el 5 de Mayo weekend that we went to go see him, he was like cooking.
No me acuerdo, no, tan feo.
Yeah, the little que me acuerdo, ese güey parecía pirinola out there. And yeah, one of the players that just tried his heart out. There would be videos online of just compilations of him because he was trying his best and doing whatever he could.
He has all the talent at his feet.
Yeah.
He's one of those completely game changer type players. Like he looks like a human highlight reel out there. He almost like, I mean, it's kind of a weird comparison, but he was at the Quakes. Chofi's at his prime. They like you have the ball at your feet and you have guys flying at you to take the ball away, and bro, there's no chance they're gonna take it away from you. It's one of those types, but Hernan Lopez is light years ahead of Chofis, and I think he has a way bigger ceiling still to go. So much so that he was rumored the past month that one of this like conglomerate that buys players for Argentina teams because apparently they can't afford it and they probably just do IOUs later. Sorry, Argentinos. But this dude was coming to buy him on behalf of Estudiantes de La Plata or Vélez Sarsfield.
Yeah.
And apparently was almost there, and then they even saw him at the Coachella Invitationals that he wasn't participating in certain matches or trainings. And all of us Quakes fans were sweating.
We're sweating, por favor no te lo lleves. We're sweating, making edits just in case he was leaving, saying goodbye. It was a rough past couple of days porque
the Quakes had promised a Hernan Lopez bobblehead night.
Yeah.
Match 1, opening match next weekend, and they pulled the post down.
Oh,
because there were some rumors that he was leaving. They were trying to get their money back too, I bet. They're like, hey, excuse me, customer service.
Can we just swap the heads?
Yeah, can we put Cristian Espinosa head instead?
Parecidos.
They look kind of the same, especially y'all animated. No, but thankfully, Hernan Lopez is staying here. One good bright spot. Cristian Espinosa has been having MLS All-Star level performances every season.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the All-Star team last year because obviously they were dead last.
Yeah. And we've been calling out over the past few months and years saying that Cristian Espinosa needs the help because he's one of the players that is really good. Pero no puede ser solo.
Especially on a banda, right?
Yeah,
it's just
especially
one
there.
side, and it's like, okay, you're literally banking on just this side to attack.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then he would also track back to defend
Yeah.
too. So you're like, my guy, hasta yo me estoy cansando por ti,
Sí,
nomás trae
güey.
una chela. That's it.
Y hasta me duele de que solo por ti que pierdan, because I see how hard you work. And then we'd call out other players like aquel güey no juega lo mismo que tú juegas. He's been here all his career.
Yeah.
Players that we'll talk about. But yeah, every game it was apparent that Mans was just working his heart out, playing ahí todo lo que se podía hacer, él lo hacía.
Yep. No, for sure. I think one other standout player at your position, man. I think Daniel, Yarbrough, mis respetos for having to deal with all of it. But Daniel, before he got out with his injury, had one of the best save percentages, most blocks, obviously because you're getting bombarded, but statistically was balling out.
Yeah.
And coming from Internacional, I think, de Porto Alegre.
Yeah, like the second division of...
no, he was at first division, but backup at Inter.
Okay.
Apparently he had like some falling out with the team, so he had like a baller run at Libertadores one year, starting, and then they like lo metieron de suplente. And the Quakes said, "Vámonos, cupón, dámelo." So I think Daniel can have a breakout year this year, especially if the defense just tries their heart out at just not conceding 2.5 to 3 goals a game.
Yeah.
But that's I think some of the best things that we can pull out from last year to this year. How do you feel after last year?
It's the same thing. It's just frustrated at the ownership group. You can't really blame the players other than the players like Jackson Yule or like Tommy Thompson or like all of these players that have had so much time at the Quakes que nomás no hacen nada, parece.
Yeah.
But
it's just like a repeat of mediocrity most years.
Right. Yeah.
And it just seemed like that's what the Quakes were okay with. And it was frustrating year over year that like even the coaches like sal a una pinche entrevista and say, bro, we suck.
Yeah.
I need guys. But then sometimes it seemed like they also put in, like in the Selección de México, they put in the titres. They're like, hey, just don't say anything to anybody that we're cheap.
Yeah.
Just do your job, and maybe you'll get the full-time job. Like, pobrecito Ian Russell, that was interim last year.
Yeah.
Like, he was trying his heart out to get a full-time Quakes coaching role. It was the assistant to Lucien, the assistant back in the day to Dominic Kinnear, I think. And like a lot of people say he deserved it because he was at Reno head coach.
Yeah.
And también I feel like just because he wanted a shot, maybe he was like, yeah, don't worry, dude. I won't tell anybody that you're not buying me any players.
Yeah.
That I have to deal with Tommy Thompson all season with Kikanovic and like the homegrowns.
Yeah. And por eso, like, as a fan, it kind of felt even more frustrating, right? Porque it just all seemed like it was fake. Just because there was no relegation. It goes back to a point in our episodes where we talked about USL having pro and rel. MLS doesn't. So it's so easy for the ownership group, John Fisher, to just not care.
Yeah.
Because he'll always have a backup. His team is getting valuation. But fuck the fans, right?
Les vale Winnie. I'm getting my minimum cash every season in my pocket.
Yeah.
Me vale that we don't have a good product out there. And that's the frustrating thing. It's kind of crazy to think about taking a step back that if there were a promotion relegation, our professional soccer team from our area would be no more because they would be in second division after last year.
Yep.
I highly doubt that even if they had it and they would have tried their little hearts out, that they would have not gotten last place. They were last by like 12 points.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Imagine that. And then having a second division team.
Yeah.
How empty the games are already. Like they would be completely empty.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe we would not have that ownership group too after getting relegated.
Yeah, because it would be a terrible investment. So the person might sell it.
And then the next person would try to bring it back up. ¿Verdad? Con unas ganas.
The CEO of the NVIDIA would come through.
Echándole gas, echándole bonds de 100 bands.
500 million? Fácil. Give it to me. Vámonos. Who do we want? Messi? Okay. Pues,
te lo traigo.
Ahí está. No, for
but yeah,
sure.
so that's the whole point is John Fisher just does not care.
Yeah, so those are the takeaways from the past season, folks. But let's look forward. Let's look forward to what the Quakes have been trying to do to get out of this situation, to try to fix their situation. The first thing that they did was they picked up an MLS legend of a coach, U.S. men's national team legend as well. They picked up Bruce Arena. Bruce Arena, who's had his time at DC United, LA Galaxy, New England Revolution, University of Virginia, the men's national team, de todo. He was a champion twice, MLS Cup champion with DC United. He was a champion 3 times with LA Galaxy.
Yeah, ha ganado todo en los Estados Unidos.
He won the Supporter Shield, didn't win the championship with New England Revolution, and then he had a rough time towards the end of it. Yeah. But he has won everything possible. NCAA Men's Soccer Championship, 89, 91, 92, 93, 94.
Jesus Christ. Le falta ganar Gilroy Super League, güey.
No, pero no ha ganado aquí in Twin Creeks. That's what I'm hearing. MLS Coach of the Year, 97, 2009, 2011, 2021. Jesus Christ. CONCACAF Gold Cup 3 times, 2002, 2005, 2017. This man knows how to win.
Yeah.
He knows how to win, and I think that's one of the biggest things that if you look up any interviews with him or people talking about him is like, that is probably one of the biggest things. One of the big things that I think Javier Aguirre has too, like maybe because he's at Mallorca and when Atletico wasn't that great, maybe it's not que pues te va a hacer la táctica así, but he gives you winning DNA. Te da las ganas. He brings the right people into the locker room, brings the team together, and just knows who wins and who is not a winner, gets them the hell out, and makes something happen.
Yeah, and he has all these accolades. He trae ese respeto, because even pundits know, like the way they talk to him, it's like he is a god.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the U.S.
Es un guy que con todo respeto y señor gracias. So yeah, now imagine being under him, like he's going to put you in a place where you have the best possibility to win. Y ahora juntando todos los transfers that are coming in. That's one of the main reasons why Quakes fans are excited, because we have at the helm a coach that knows how to play, knows how to win, and has shown it multiple times.
Yeah. And I mean, especially because if you look back at some of the coaches, like Luchi Gonzalez had a good run at FC Dallas, but he was really well known for like killing it at the academy level with FC Dallas and pumping out the Weston McKennies and the Pepis and all these Tyler Adams and all these superstar kids. He was known to being a youth mastermind at that level and really good with FC Dallas too. But then you get to the Quakes and como que like no se le veía tanto at the senior level. Maybe he didn't have that much influence. Now he's the head of the coaching academy for the Quakes, which is lit.
Which is amazing, yeah.
I think that's cooking. But like at the senior level, como que no le agarraba eso. And then after that, you get Ian Russell, and you're just like, okay, my guy, you're just an interim. Yeah. So like, what really are you trying to do here? Is the team really respecting you? No, we're in dead last. You're not getting the most out of them. But now with Bruce coming in, it really makes me feel like even the worst players that they have there are going to give the best. He's going to get the best out of them to create a good balance of level of play.
Yeah.
Which I'm super excited about. And I think it's going to be huge as well because he's dealt with all kinds of personalities on all of these teams.
That's major, yeah.
And he has to work it out with the superstars that he has coming in because they did bring big names. And then they have their big names, a player that almost left. So maybe Hernan Lopez might feel like he's already off to a higher level, right? And Espinosa, who's maybe tired of the league. Right, maybe certain players feeling like they're not pulling the weight that other players are pulling because like the back line kind of sucks, right? So I think Bruce Arena being there so long will know how to bring Chicho Arango, Joseph, Hernan, everybody together.
Which is a great point because I see here that he was also University of Virginia, so he's known how to win with college kids, with kids who are a bit younger or in that intermediate level of. You're not completely an amateur, but you played at a really good level. Now you're ready to move on to like the really good professional level. Because I'm thinking of Nico Sakiris. I'm thinking of the boy Cruz right?
Mm-hmm.
Buddha.
Cruz Medina, yeah.
All of these players who Buddha was just at Monterey Bay FC and has been doing well in this preseason, that if Bruce can get him to maybe explode or get a few more goals to get his confidence going. Same thing with Sakiri's. He had a decent amount of games last season, but what if this season he has like a bigger role in that center mid defensive mid position?
No, I think those are really good points. Yeah.
They're really young still. Like we had Lucho Medina, but this guy
Lucho Gonzalez.
Lucho Gonzalez. But Bruce Arena is the winningest coach the U.S. has. So if he can make these players, if he's the right guy to get these players going, like the Quakes are gonna find roughs in the diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think putting the two together, Lucho Gonzalez at the academy level, to go from putting out a Tommy Thompson level player, Emi Ochoa, who I think got a good break because he's kind of plateauing. Are these players plateauing? The Quakes have gotten rid of a couple of homegrowns that we don't even hear of making it all the way to start because they no lassen, right? So but they need to break through. Who has done that over and over and over again? FC Dallas has, and this dude made the base for that. And then even for that next level of getting them to that next level, Bruce Arena has been huge with college players, but also he really believes in the MLS Super Draft for these college kids. So if Lucci can get us a lot of products to a certain level and he can foster that and make them even better, plus drafting even more, I think that would be amazing because the Quakes have had Buddha, who was a national champion with Stanford. They had Tanner Beeson, national champion at Stanford, Jack Scahan, baller at like Clemson, but no Lassen.
Yeah.
Right. So like, what's that's missing? I think maybe some of the coaches needed players to be at the top level. Well, maybe this guy can help players get to higher levels, which is what I'm excited about. Talking about high levels, the Quakes did bring in some names. So let's talk about some transfers in. The biggest of all the names, Chicho Arango, Cristian Arango, ex-LAFC, then went over to Pachuca. Kind of had a rough stint. Did great at LAFC, had a rough stint with Pachuca. Came back to MLS to Real Salt Lake. And then they paid like $6 million for him. And then the Quakes, all of a sudden, out of nowhere in the announcements on Twitter, they pay $1.4 million GAM, general allocation money, and an international spot to Real Salt Lake.
Cooking.
That is cooking.
Yes.
And the other thing to know is Bruce Arena is also the sporting director now. Yeah. So Chris Leitch, who is theirs, his assistant now, or like ahí está su mano derecha. But I mean, this might have been all Bruce Arena.
Yeah. I don't know how Chris Leitch worked, pero after just seeing this, diciendo que RSL paid $6 million. When the Quakes only played $4 million and then found a way to play with
1.4.
1.4 to find a way to pay GAM y luego darle un international spot.
And GAM is just monopoly money.
It's monopoly money.
It's like, hey, wait, go in the app and how much do we have? You know, like it's fake. It's fake. And you paid fake money plus an international. Yeah, international spot's kind of rough. Yeah. But like to get a baller.
To get him se me hace que ahora we won with this one and we're cooking.
Quakes won hard. You can always tell who wins when you go on Twitter on the goodbye of the player, and then you see the comments, and they're like, "No, hijos de su madre, what did you guys do? Yeah. No." Yeah. But I mean, rightfully so. He scored 17 goals and he had 12 assists last season. Yeah, 29 total goal contributions.
How many did we get in total last season?
I think the Quakes might have had like 35, less than 35. God damn, this dude did it by himself.
Yeah, it was. Este way getting like half of what the Quakes.
No, casi the whole damn thing. No, but that's great on the Quakes to be able to get this player. I think they cooked with this, and it's something they needed because they got rid of Jeremy Obobisi.
Yeah, which is. I'm glad. I know he's a great human being, helped out around Oakland.
He's a good baller, too. He's going to ball out. He's at LAFC.
Yeah,
he's going to ball out.
He's going to ball out, but we needed a change up there.
Yeah, we needed somebody that could do a little bit more. But he's in a team where other players help more. He's probably going to cook. But no, Chicho Arango, very, very, very well received. Vente para acá, open arms.
Bienvenido. ¿Dónde quieres ir? La Vix.
Hey, kid La Vix, there's a new Colombian spot off of the Alameda. Have you seen it?
No.
Outside dice que chimba Medellin, like in graffiti.
Hacen arepas, no?
Yeah, it looks like I think it used to be a Denny's.
Oh, wow.
Or something. It looks like the vibe. I see flat and like low, and it looks good. And I've heard it's popping.
Jeez.
See if you gotta go.
Tengo que ir yo. Tú no.
Tú sí. Hey, what's up? Y'all hired? Tú sí, man. Oh, now after this next signing too, the Quakes games are gonna be full of Colombians and Venezuelan people. God damn.
Ay, que ir.
Cesar's
Hey, who's your rep, bro? At the season
Cesar's about to get season tickets. Hey, so you come often?
See that?
Yeah, Josef Martinez coming, el venezolano, the GOAT, second highest active MLS goal scorer with 116 right there, only behind Kai Kamara, who's still there, I think. But 31-year-old on a free. ¿Qué más queremos?
Fácil, tráemelo para acá.
Was that what, Montreal last season?
No hizo mucho allá. I don't think he liked the cold. Mejor vente aquí, sunny
está
California.
Bonito.
Casi no llueve.
Just like Venezuela.
Yeah. I mean, what else? 31. Todavía le quedan unos cuantos años. Sabe meter goles. I think he'll help us out a lot.
I was scared if Hernan left that we would have to do like Chicho as the 10, him as the 10, and then put them both in at the same time. Pero con un Hernan ahí, con él. I know in one of the preseason matches they put Chicho wide, which I don't love. It's like Hernan or Christian on one side and then this one on the other side. But I think if he comes off the bench and helps us out, if we're losing matches and we go 2 striker, or he just helps relieve him, like I'd be so happy. I'm fine. Aunque pierdamos, güey. Empatemos todo.
No le hace. Yo voy a estar bien happy yendo a esos juegos.
No, bien pedito. Huh? We got Nick Lima coming back. Ex-homegrown. Lo mandaron a wherever Austin.
He went to Austin.
He went to Austin. Like every other Bay Area person moved to Austin.
For real.
And then they moved him from there to New England Revolution.
Se lo llevó Bruce.
Bruce Arena took him over there, and you guys will see there's a bit of a trend that for a good week, every day we're getting an announcement that a Quakes player was going over there and that one of their players was coming over here.
Yep.
And I was like, pues qué chingados?
Todo el equipo de una vez.
These fools are getting a little too happy in the text thread in the WhatsApp. You can text another team manager, my guy. You don't have to text the same guy. The New England Revolution sucked last year too.
Yeah.
So we had to take that into account. Nick Lima isn't at his best level. So I don't know. I thought Quakes could always do better when he was here. Now he's coming back. Hopefully it's a depth play.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say porque this doesn't excite me.
To start, and he shouldn't be starting.
Nick Lima.
Quakes didn't lose outside backs. So I think he's basically coming in for Tommy Thompson.
Oh, sale. Ay, sí me gusta.
Sí, pues sí. No,
está bien.
Y
regresa a su casa, es del área de todos modos.
Yeah, he's from Castro Valley. Yeah. No, pues sí. They also brought in David Romney, veteran center back from New England Revolution, MLS lifer. I think he started Ventura County. Ventura County's team.
Yeah, he's from that area. He's from Irvine.
Yeah.
But he did have, I think it was the most clearances, or he was out top one of the stats on the defense. Pero New England Revs weren't the greatest tampoco, so a lo mejor era de una de esas de
tuvo mucho trabajo.
He had a lot of work and just tried his heart out, and you know.
That's how I would always be at the top of stats, no matter where we're at, because it's like my team would suck and be like, hey, but who had the most clearances?
Cabrones, ¿qué se creen? ¿Con
¿Qué?
quién hablan? Number one.
Number one. Más goleado too, but
hey,
we'll forget that.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe he'll help us out. Experienced MLS player, 31 years old, 6'2", altito.
Eso mero.
Yeah, so
I think this is also kind of one of those, like, you know what, like beef up the star, like help out a little bit at the starting position, but maybe beef up the bench to make sure we have good depth. Yeah. I like that he was bringing some of these players in because they felt like depth plays, which one of my biggest complaints past years was like, bro, ¿quién en la banca?
Yeah.
¿Quién? If it wasn't Sakiris there, if he was off or on international duty or hurt, bro, no mames, ni nadie los conoce.
Yeah, de una vez, méteme a mí.
Bro, I was like,
Diciendo
hey,
una de esas.
ahorita me tomo un agua and I'll be
Sí.
like, I'll get sober.
It's like Sunday League, bro. I got
Yeah,
you.
bro.
Llego así igual.
You're telling me I can't agarro un vámonos, balón largo. ¿Quién va?
Se viene uno contra uno. Sopas, the ball or the man.
No, we'll score. No, they also brought in Ian Hawks, veteran center back from New England Revolution, played at Dundee United.
Sheesh.
This is not Portales and this is not the Monterrey partner Dundee. That's Dundee FC, but it is the other Dundee squad. But one of those Americans, you know, that we don't even know, but he's in the Scottish Premiership. You know, there's one over here acá in the Belgian lower division, uno acá in the Polish league, right? He was one of those that we didn't even know about.
Yeah.
But good center defensive mid. Juega.
A ver qué. We need center mids.
Center mids, we needed to because we wiped it out. We'll talk about it in a second. We wiped out the mid.
Mm-hmm.
So we do need that. I don't know if these are upgrades. We'll talk about it in a second. But the other center defensive mid, Mark Anthony K, who's been pretty well known in the area, ex-LAFC, then went over to like Toronto, and then was at some other team.
De Canadá, el compita.
He's still an international call-up.
Okay.
For Canada, so he's still got the level. But yeah, everything por la media, ¿no? Así.
Es como
Defensas, mis medios, mis delanteros.
It's one of the notes that I was going to bring up. It's cuando haces un equipo tienes la espina dorsal, ¿verdad?
La vertical.
Portero, los defensas centrales, your center mids y your forwards.
Pues ya el que corra, why no?
Pero como que after these transfers that we've talked about, como que nos hacen falta por ahí un center mid que sea de talla y un center back.
Yeah, because I mean, a veces quality over quantity, ¿verdad? Yeah. So that's one thing that I wish we would have, because when they brought these guys in, we still had the full center mid, except for Jackson Newell moved. And then once they started losing people, también pregunto, hey, pues,
¿a quién vas a traer?
Bring somebody at the same level. What's up?
¿Ya se cerró la ventana? O?
No, they're still open, but most outside leagues so it's mainly internal now, because most outside leagues have already locked up the rosters. They're not going to give anybody up.
Yeah.
So let's talk. So that's mainly who we got in. Let's talk about who we got out to make room for those players. The biggest money wise, I think, was Carlos Grueso, leaving to LDU Quito, back to his home country.
Back to Ecuador, porque aquí no hizo ni madres.
No.
Aquí nomás took up an international spot, took up a big salary, y pues se vino a pasear.
He was at a pretty solid team before in the Bundesliga. He was at
Augsburg, I believe.
Augsburg. Y pues como que he used to be he was at FC Dallas before.
Con Lucci, por eso lo trajo.
Con Lucci, and he brought him, and como que we were like, all right, well, hopefully he learned a lot in Augsburg.
I was excited. I was like, viene de Germany. He had good minutes.
Ecuadorian center mid. You're like, a Moises Caicedo type.
Sí.
Oh, we're getting first place.
Let's go.
Pero es medio huevoncillo.
Sí, no, llegó y como te digo, even on the field se notaba que
medio huevón.
Sí tenía intensidad, pero parecía que hacía mucho, pero en realidad no hacía nada.
Yeah, he looked like sometimes like, I'm trying so hard, but then
Red Bull.
But you're like, oh my God, like we're getting beat so easy down the middle, and you're not helping us come out, and you're not giving long balls. You're just kind of there, get the ball over there. Okay, you take it, and you're just like, come, you do more for me.
Yeah.
You're our DP. So I think Bruce Arena had that same understanding after watching tape, after seeing him in practice. He's like, hey, a ese güey le pagamos más que todos.
Y no hace nada.
No, hombre. Vámonos para Ecuador, my guy. They got rid of Tommy Thompson to the free agency. Shout out to Tommy Thompson. Doing a lot for footy in the community.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Would go a lot to schools. Y como habla español, también hablaba español.
Did you see that they killed the Duolingo bird?
I was watching that, but who killed it? Or
I think it's a PR stint,
okay.
right? But
it's going viral. Yeah.
It's like remember when the M&Ms died or something? One of them,
yeah.
or like the peanut guy, right? It's just you just make it up, right? But Tommy Thompson like reposted it on his social media, like R.I.P. Because I think he was trying hard for a while on Duolingo, and I think he was trying to get like a sponsorship deal or something.
Yeah, but he would do a lot for us in the community. First homegrown player,
first ever.
He
was exciting when he first came up, because MLS wasn't at the level that it is now, and it was like put this 19-year-old in for 20 minutes, and this fool's doing around the world. Y vámonos te la hago y vámonos a...
Parecía el güerito Ronaldinho.
Parecía pelea out there, my guy.
Sí.
No,
pero
sure.
I mean, lately no nos ayudaba tan bien como queríamos. So, muchas gracias.
Los años pesan.
Ahí nos vemos.
No, for sure. The Quakes also got rid of their third keeper last season, who we hoped would be second and on his way to first, but Emi Ochoa. El gran Emi Ochoa de Salas.
Salinas, Santa Cruz Breakers player, went to Cruz Azul for $1.5 million.
I've never really seen a Liga MX team. I mean, Chivas is doing Barajas, but to get pay that much for players that are for sure going to youth squads.
Yeah,
he's not second. Gudiño, they have a second. Yeah, this fool is youth squads.
Yeah, but he's also seleccionado nacional,
which is interesting to me.
Why? ¿Por qué? Oh.
Because he's not close to starting anywhere, and when he's getting to U21s, U23s,
he's
19, not 19 or 20.
Yeah, but
we need him starting.
He's a 2005 born.
Cruz Azul, 19. Cruz Azul should have loaned him out to start somewhere.
Yeah,
to get him some minutes.
So there might be a plan behind that. I mean, está el Conejo Pérez ahí, so hopefully he develops him well. But yeah, I mean, he needs first division minutes. Ochoa empezó a los 19.
Yeah,
like,
but that's the thing. That's why I made that face earlier, because I'm like, okay, like I wonder if they're bag holding him, because they're like, hey, well, one day he's gonna be a baller. He's 6'3", like humongous. Like one day he's gonna cook. But then you're just waiting. Yeah. Just as twig skinny as ever. And those keepers ya casi no hay tantos.
Yeah.
Twig skinny. But ojalá le vaya bien allá. But Quakes got a little bit of money. And maybe one thing we'll wrap it up with in a second is that they haven't necessarily spent a lot. But Jackson Newell. El Don, the other center defensive mid, the other half of that going to the New England Revolution in that DM that just would not stop.
Yeah.
Hey, ¿quieres este? Oh, pues mándame este también. Oh, pues
este mero, es el primero que quiero que se vaya.
Hey, también traes a este, güey, ¿no? Pues también mándalo.
Yeah, Jackson Newell, somebody I've nothing personal. I just never liked him as a center mid, as our center mid, center attacking mid. Hey, perdóname, pero no mucho.
Lo odio. Remember Almeida put him at center back?
Bruh.
For like 3 games.
Yo no sé, Almeida did not do the greatest.
Yeah.
Hizo lo que quiso con tus Chivas y hizo el pastor, como le llaman, pero con los Quakes nada, igual como este güey.
Igual como este. No, yeah, Jackson Newell, good shift. Good.
But it's one of those players that could be like second or third string.
Yeah, if he went to a better team, I'd be like, oh, ta madre, este güey la va a romper. Right, if he's got ballers around him helping him. The Revs, he'll get his minutes. I think he's going to be probably starting. But unless they stack the team around him, I think he's going to be like an average to above average center defensive mid.
I'd say average, but whatever.
Okay, don't be that nice so far. No, but I think what we're hearing from all this is that the Quakes got a good amount of money. I think they got some money for Grueso. I think. They for sure got 1.5 to something for Emmy, and then they for sure those are the big ones, yeah. But so we were promised spending, and then the biggest spend that we really had was the Monopoly money, the 1.4 million GAM for Chicho. So I get it. I give you your kudos, Bruce Arena. You cooked with what you had. You even invented money to give it to a team, and it worked. But John Fisher, nos quedaste a deber todavía. Don't think you
vez.
got out of this just because you brought us two big names. Like, you should have spent money. And I mean, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, we filled in the rosters, but guess what? Our defense is still gaping there. Like, we need a lot of help. Center, defensive mid, you left us exposed without any great players. So I think there's definitely still more we could have done.
Yeah, definitely. John Fisher otra vez diciendo, mira, les traje these new shiny players.
Hey, shiny, shut up.
Vénganse al juego.
Which is not bad for a winter transfer,
it's
but
not bad,
but it's different for MLS because you have to beef it up before the season. So winter has to be strong for your team in MLS.
Yeah, correct. Y a lo que voy es que otra vez diciéndonos, viviéndonos la cara, right? Because you're not really spending. I know spending can be, you can get good players for free, you can get good players with this monopoly money, pero agarraste estos jugadores, te salvaste because you didn't pay for them, ¿verdad? Now go and get us a center back.
Show us that you were going to spend and go get something else.
Yeah, and help us so we for sure know that you want this team to succeed.
You want playoffs. You want something else. Right now, you'll see our predictions in a bit. I bet if we make playoffs or not. But I have a note here. What does that leave us with as far as DPs? To my understanding, we have one DP spot open because of that Carlos Grueso one, but we don't have any international spots because we gave up the one to RSL. And to my understanding, that's why they for sure had to get rid of Grueso. But Amal Pellegrino is international, and he's not DP, so he's still there. Hernan Lopez is DP, but he is international. I think even Christian Espinosa hasn't gotten his paperwork done. But I think and then the defense, we got like that Vitor Costa guy. We got Bruno Wilson.
Yeah.
We have, I think maybe, I think Buda, because he was Generation Adidas player, is not considered extranjero.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to clear up a spot. We'll see who it is. Probably not going to be till the summer. But we have a DP spot if we can find an American.
Yeah,
we'll bring back one of those like baller Americans for a better life here, like a Josh Sargent.
Oh, no.
They could have gone Brendan Vasquez, but they need a defender.
We need a defender.
Walker Zimmerman.
He's about to go. His contract expires in December.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Ya pasó December, way.
No, el que viene.
Okay, yeah.
So he's either goes on a free next winter or le das un poquito de dinero.
He loved the Bay.
For sure, bro.
For sure. All right, folks. So we did have some matches over the past couple of days. We can just kind of talk about it. They weren't super televised. I only saw the Portland Timbers one televised, but the Quakes played Portland Timbers, they played New York Red Bulls, and then they played Chicago Fire. The 3 matches in preseason. A Coachella, qué bonita la vida.
Dude, solecito,
you could
palm trees.
You could see some of the fixtures for the festival that I remembered when I went. And I was like, ay, cabrón, ahí están. Ahí andaba pedo.
Ahí andaba yo todo tirado, todo deshidratado.
Fucking 1,000-degree heat listening to Blink-182, oyendo el Bad Bunny. No, but yeah, 3 matches, not a lot to be excited about as far as results go. The Quakes played against Portland Timbers and they lost 2-1. They played against New York Red Bulls and they lost 1-0. And then they lost 5-1 against Chicago.
¿Qué pasó ahí?
Qué madriza. Any call-outs you got for any of these matches?
I was watching some of the Portland Timbers minutes, and the only call-out that I had was, I really hope our left back, I know Ricketts just came in last draft last year, but I really hope we can lock down a starter. Había un Brazilian there, right?
Vitor Costa. He was okay.
But I don't think he was starting, so yeah. Si algo le pasa a Victor Costa, because I remember him from last season doing pretty decently for us. Yeah, Ricketts is going to have a tough time because he was having a tough time with Portland.
Yeah, what I remember him from college was that he's a bit more attacking. Yeah. So that's like a bit more of a winger, and maybe they try to flex him back. So a ver cómo le va. But, I mean, that's the thing to take with a grain of salt is that a lot of these lineups just are half cooked, and you want to try this guy with this guy. The new guy with the real lineup, you know, the star player with the crappiest lineup. They just make it up as they go.
And Bruce Arena said the same thing. He's like, some of you have started last game or not starting this game. We'll have rotations. It's nothing personal. He said in that one video that the Quakes are doing, which is vlogging
Access
really well.
thing. That's pretty. I like it.
It's cool because
That's
really
like my
gives us,
goals for our content. God damn, it looks cool.
It looks dope. Yeah. So he was saying it on there, and I was like, okay, well, this Coachella, calmadita la cosa, no les que pierdan con que se note
Con que le echen
at the
gana.
beginning of the season that he was putting in work in the preseason.
Yeah.
Con eso hay.
I mean, of the 2 goals that they scored, the first one in that Portland Timbers match was the Oseni Buda off of a ball in. Then Pellegrino, I think, dropped it off to him, and Buda just kind of put it away. So not too much they can call out as far as like players making beautiful runs and 1-2 and like way better than last year, right?
Yeah.
So nothing too crazy there. Just kind of a hustle goal. But I mean, maybe this will be good things for Buda, who would be a great addition to the attack if he got to a good level. Then they went and played Red Bulls. They lost 1-0 on that one. The one thing I do have to call out is they played a completely different lineup, and it's like I could tell players that are not the starters.
Yeah.
Daniel wasn't in. He went in the second half. Max Floriani, ¿quién chingados?
Con todo respeto.
Rodriguez came off the bench, the center back.
Brazilian.
Oscar Verhoeven, which is one of the homegrowns, started. Bo LaRue, that fool's from San Jose State. He played at San Jose. Look at him getting some minutes. Vitor Costa did play, but they brought in Espinosa. They brought in Harks. They brought in Chicho Arango. They brought in Joseph Martinez off the bench. So just plug and play. But they did get scored their 1 goal against New York Red Bulls. And then we have to face La Madriza que les metieron Chicago Fire 5-1. They were down 5-0 at the half.
Which was crazy. They got scored a penalty at the 1 minute.
Yeah, and then
in 5 minutes. Sorry.
The 5 minutes, and then another penalty. Después that Brian Gutierrez, the dual national, scored a brace on the Quakes, and then Jonathan Bamba, who was what was he at? He was at a really good squad in Europe.
Pinche.
He was at Lille, I think.
Jonathan Gutierrez, que se vaya por México, que lo llamen porque he's doing well. He's been doing well, both in the Chicago Fire MLS and whenever they call him up for the he's in the U.S. men's mostly, right?
For the youth, and then I think he went to some of the Moleros.
Yeah, Mexican.
But I think it's still possible to do one-time switch. But Jonathan Bamba, ex-Celta de Vigo, ex-Lille with Jonathan David. This guy's serious, and he scored a brace against the Quakes in preseason. That's kind of scary. Gutierrez has been... he has 2 games with the U.S. I think under 3 games is when you can do the one-time switch, no? In the Molero. So hopefully... He's one of those that gives me the vibe like he's not going to switch.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'll get first team minutes with the U.S.
Yeah, that Jonathan Bamba dude that you're calling out, 28 years old, was born in France, but plays for Ivory Coast.
Let's go.
And it's like those players that you want the Quakes to go after that. These players que a lo mejor no la hicieron en Francia, en Italia, en España.
I mean, with Lille, he was a stud.
Oh, ok, tuvieron su
but
tiempo.
Celta de Vigo se fue al Celta de Vigo, le caló y no le fue bien.
Pero llega a la MLS con 28 años y llega a un equipo que le está dando todo lo que quiere with the facilities that he has over there.
And ready.
Que va a ser como el superstar. These are the players that the Quakes need to go out and get.
I mean, Benteke was the top goal scorer last season.
Exactly.
And he came from Crystal Palace, and everyone's like, oh, whatever. Like, yeah. But no, he was a star. He was very good at Crystal Palace. Now guess what? He's about to be a superstar here. That's what the Quakes need.
Those are get us a center back, cabrones.
A center back that's like that. Let's go. Maybe going back to the Red Bulls match, they did have Emil Forsberg and Choupo-Moting.
Dude, when you put that in the notes, I was like, what?
Choupo-Moting from freaking Bayern.
And Germany, right?
Yeah.
Bruh, I'm dead. It's like, yes, I get that they have that connection with Salzburg, RB Leipzig, and Chicago, New York, but you still need to go out and find these players because they are out there.
Yeah.
Allá nomás tienes que ir a con una lanita que sé que tienes, pinche John Fisher, y tráeme al uno que jugó en 2022 the World Cup.
No, for sure. For sure. But I mean, tres madrizas, technically 3 L's by the Quakes. I mean, my biggest takeaway, I think the team needs more intensity, which I hope Bruce Arena can bring. I know he's really big on set pieces, and they were getting low-key bullied on some of them against the Timbers that I could see, and then giving up 2 penalties in a big L that you take against Chicago. I mean, those are set pieces you got to fix. I think it's a lot of. I think Bruce Arena's probably getting out of this and coming back to the Bay with like, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
and we only have 10 days.
Yeah, which if anybody can do it, it can be somebody like him. But at the end of the day, it's about the players putting in the work. It's about Bruce Arena knowing how to do it, which we know he does. But the bad thing is that he does only have 10 days. Because most of these guys that are going to be quote unquote starters just got here. Se necesitan acoplar a el estilo de juego de Bruce Arena. Se necesitan acoplar a el equipo, the rest of the team. Because most of the players are still there. We only had like 4 or 3 starters that left. Grueso, Tommy Thompson, if you want to say, y Jewel, ¿verdad? Todos los demás son iguales.
Jebo, we talked about it earlier, but Jeremy Bubsey was a pretty big one. A lot of goal contributions. Yeah,
so it's a big time limit. Y a lo mejor we won't see the Quakes that we want to see until like the 3rd, 4th week.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I think a takeaway of mine as well is that we might have a rough go at the beginning, which we're not. It's happened before with Matias Almeida. Had a bit of a rough go at the beginning. Every coach, honestly, has had those rough goes. But let's bring it to some predictions then to bring us on home. I got some notes here. Let's just get right into it. Cesar, where do you have these Quakes finishing on the table? Western Conference, at least.
I'm predicting to see them fighting for that wild card position in that 8th or 9th position. Trying to get in, like we said, I think Bruce Arena will have a rough go at the beginning. Will have mountain team pressure. But I think at the end of the day, he's going to steady the ship and get this team going again. We definitely won't be last. At least I hope so. But at the end of the day, it's going to be about balancing the attack and balancing the defense. Yep. If we keep leaking goals, it's going to be a really long, really rough season. So, yeah, we're going to just have to wait and see.
So you're saying the last
8 or 9.
Last wild card spot. Yeah, I think what's really going to help the Quakes is they're not in League's Cup.
Yeah.
So that's one less competition. I'm not saying that took too much of their emotional life to give to the League's Cup last year. They lost. I mean, they beat who? Necaxa? Yeah. But U.S. Open Cup is going to be lighter, right? MLS isn't all in on it, and some teams are sending their B squads.
Yeah.
So I think the Quakes are really going to focus on League this year. I think the Quakes can sneak into top 9. I'll put us at 9, and then I put here I have like a standard deviation of 2. So like I could see them being 7
plus or minus 2.
I could see them being 7. I could see them being 11.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke in y'all's butt just because everyone's a Quake fan joining in. But I can see them not making playoffs. But I don't think it's possible for them to get dead last.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible for them to get scored on 78 times again. God, what are you then? But I think they'll be mid-table, and I think they could sneak into 9th, maybe a little bit higher. But I don't think they'll make top 6. I think we needed to beef up that center back position more, the defense a little bit more, a center mid that can help us out a lot more, maybe DP level, either of those. Maybe by the summer, if we get it, we'll have a really strong second half. But like I mentioned, I could see us starting rough at the beginning.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. We'll keep the same standard deviation, so we're like in the same area.
Let's go. I think we're both realistic. All right, Cesar, give me your choice for Quakes MVP this season. Who was your choice looking ahead?
My choice for MVP is Hernan Lopez. I think this is his breakout season. I think the last half of last season when he got here, he showed us that with quality players, he can do well. Even last season, he didn't have the quality players, and you can still show how good he was on the ball, how good he was off the ball, and este año es su año para hacer lo que quiera él on the field. As long as he stays, and motherfucker no se puede ir.
Yeah, they cannot let him go in the summer. If he goes in the summer, that ruins your pick because he'll be gone for half of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with an oldie. I got Christian Espinosa, balling out again this season now that he has the weapons to get the balls into. He did so much with Jebo, which honestly, Jeremy Bobasi was really good partner for him. But now I can only see it getting better with Hernan Lopez there for negative balls in, for him to smack in, deadly balls into Arango, balls in the air to Arango. If Pellegrino on the other side finally picks it up, he can help out. Yeah. And then maybe even a fresh Joseph Martinez off the bench. The Quakes right now, past seasons, after 65 minutes, you're exhausted. The players are tired, and there's not anybody better coming in off the bench. So I can imagine those last 15 minutes, I want to see a good amount of fresh goals from some of these bench players. And Espinosa can run all day, so hopefully he can get those balls in. All right, Cesar, last question. Give me your choice for your breakout player of the year. More of a sleeper pick of a player that you're expecting a lot of, but that maybe isn't the most protagonista already.
Okay. I'm going to go for a youth player. I think I've talked about him so far, Nikos Tsakiris. I think if he can definitely take over that center defensive mid position, this can also set him up to have a really good season and to be the definite starter next season and be like, yo, this is my position. I'm the new star here. I'm going to be better than the previous center mids we've had that left to the New England Revs. And this is going to be my position. Yo, aquí voy a mandar. So I want him. I'm really banking on him, having a lot of faith in him to for this season to really put himself in a position where that's his spot. They don't have to bring anybody else in. We can save some money there.
Yeah, that's a really good point at center mid because he's got the two other center mids now, so I hopefully can break through. My pick for this is keeper Daniel. I think he had a lot to prove last season with his first full season with the Quakes, and he got a bunch of saves and statistically really high up. But this season, hopefully with a lot better balanced team, he gets exposed less or not needed as much. So I'm really excited for him to hopefully show his true colors, only get the shots where he's really needed, getting really good saves, seeing if he's really good at PKs when he needs to in big moments. I think I expect for him to show up, get a full non-injured season, and hopefully he's one of the top keepers there. And then who knows if he wants to stay at the Quakes for forever or if he wants to get sold back to Brazil. They got a lot of money in Brazil right now.
Yeah.
They do, not like Argentina. So maybe the Quakes make a little bit of money off of a sale there and then bring back Emmy or do something with another youth keeper or something. But no, I'm excited for Daniel, for a full season with Daniel.
Let's go.
Let's get it. All right, folks. Well, we hope that you guys liked that episode. If you guys are Quakes fans or non-Quakes fans, we hope that you had fun with that. Let us know what your predictions are in the comments below and follow us for more content.
Yeah, and watch out. We might go out and do some tailgates at the San Jose Earthquakes. We've done some in the past, so if you're new here, tune into our socials because we always put them out there where we're going to be. Pa que se vengan.
Yeah, that is a really good point. If you guys have never followed us before, we are a podcast and a community outside of the podcast on Discord, in person. We tailgate. The last couple seasons, we've been tailgating a lot. We're hoping to do it this year, so come out and have a good time with us.
Yeah. Thank you guys as always.
Soon. Peace.